before.
Yeah,
Skill is at an all-time high, but the
yeah.
fundamentals of the game. So you transition from your senior year. Obviously, you don't get drafted, and then you go overseas, and then you just set everything on fire. Going over there, you scoring champion, winning a championship. What changed, and how much of a development that it allowed you? Would you say that your game? Would you say your game was pretty much conditioned for the pros as opposed to college? Like,
Um,
what happened when you got overseas? And because no, and I'm not trying to blow smoke and anything like that. I remember a buddy of mine. Again, and I think my buddy of mine was telling me. He said, "Yo, you remember the kid? You remember the dude Charlie Bell from Michigan? He killing overseas because that was the thing. Like guys, that go overseas. Charlie Bell he killing, and I was
mhm.
like, what? Charlie Bell was killing. And I remember when we met, I always remember that, and I always wanted to know. Like some guys are better NBA players or better pro
Mhm.
players than they are
Yeah.
college basketball players. What
Yeah.
clicked for you to just get over this overseas and get busy?
I mean, truthfully, man, I was always a scorer, man. Like, and I'm Flint's all-time leading scorer, man. Like I averaged 32 as a junior, 30 as a senior, like, so I was always getting buckets. I mean, that's just the way I was. And then next thing you know, I get to Michigan State, and I had to change my game almost because, I want to win. In high school, that's what I had to do to win. When I get to college, everybody comes from being a great scorer. So what can I sacrifice? What can I get better at in order to help the team win? So, like, let me try to become a better defender. And then that's what I started to do. Let me work on my point guard. Let me setting up my teammates. So I feel like, I can always score. Then next thing you know, I get overseas and it's like, when you're going over there as an American and you getting the highest salary, hey, we need you to get buckets, my man. Like that's what that's what you hear for. You are a scorer. Like everybody else, all the Italians, the Spanish, their teammates, there you go, your role players. You get out there and you get buckets. I remember one year, in the team meeting, before the season started, the coach, I don't know what he was saying, but in so many words in Spanish, he was basically, or Italian, I can't remember where I was at. He was, he basically said Charlie got to get 20, 25 shots a game. I'm like, what did coach just say? Oh, he just, the teammate, when he said you need to get 20, 25 shots. I said, oh, okay, coach. All right, the stage is set. All right, y'all know. And it's like, now they coming down, they trying to get me to rock. Like, here, shoot, like, here you go, shoot, shoot. I'm like, all right. And then, I started to get my mojo back, man, because, like college, yeah, it's a slow down game and, big team, like I said, defender, like I'm trying to bleed a defender, trying to teammate thing. But I got overseas, it was more like, Charlie, like, no, you here to get buckets. And then, yeah, I ended up averaging like 25, I think, in Italy. And then the next year, I averaged 27. I'm looking at the score, like the averages now. I'm like, guys averaging 18, 19, leading the league. I'm like, man, I averaged 27. Like, and it's like, even when I think about, high school, it's like, I'm seeing some of these games, guys averaging 15, 20 points. I'm like, man, I averaged 32 with no shot clock, man. I don't know how these guys, it was 32 minutes in the game. I mean, I was averaging a point a minute. I'm like, man, I don't know how I did it, man. Sometimes I really, when I go to game, I'm like, man, like I don't know, man. It's like, I always felt like I was in better shape than everybody. That's what, like I told you, I ran cross country. So, as the game went on, I was just grabbing rebounds, going coast to coast. Everybody tired, the defense ain't set. I'm just going pew, 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 pew. I felt like I just never got tired. And when I got overseas, I still was in great shape. So that was one thing that I really felt like helped my game, and I got got my offense back going. And then that's when the NBA really started to take notice. Like, oh, okay, this guy, who is this guy? And then I was able to get back to the league after that.
Yeah, talk
But
your
I
talk.
always got buckets, Gerald. I always
Yeah,
got
I'm
buckets,
just saying,
baby.
you talk your talk, Charlie
I
Bell.
still, I
That's
still, I
what I'm
still
talking
get
about.
buckets now.
That's what I'm saying. Mr. Bell, you talk your talk. Shoot. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Talk your talk. But again, how did you keep that mindset and have that disappointment of not being drafted to go to, I think because
Yeah,
you ended up going to the league and then you got cut and then
yeah,
going
okay.
overseas. And it's not as easy going overseas and be able to go overseas and put in that work. How did you keep that disappointment or that drive and not let it get you down?
I think it was just like I told about before, when I was at state, just trying to get better every year. And I think, once you get a taste of, I got played for Phoenix and then I ended up getting cut. And then, I go to the coach, hey, what do I need to work on? I went to one of the scouts, Mark West. Mark West was like, man, you got to be able to handle the ball better. You got to be able to shoot the three, the NBA three. I'm like, all right, cool. So like, that's what I was like. Let me work on what I need to work on. Come back, play summer league, get cut, and be like, okay, what do you say when you ask some scouts or ask some players or my agent, hey, what I got to work on? Then I go overseas, and that's what I work on all year. Every year, what do I need to work on? Then you coming back, playing in Michigan State, playing pickup ball. Jason Richardson's there. All Steve Smith's there. Like guys. And I'm playing against NBA guys, and I'm like, man, I need to be in the NBA. I'm just as good as these guys, man. Like I can go too. So just knowing that and just continue to get better, man, and just letting everything work its self out, man. And my dad always told me back when I was coming up, because you start thinking they, because I went to Flint Southwestern, which was not really the basketball school. It was more academic, Flint Southwestern Academy. We didn't have the best basketball program, and then my team was in Northern, he was in like Northwestern, like Central, like these were more had a lot more better athletes there. And that was something I kind of was like, man, do I need to go here or there? My dad was like, if you're good, they'll find you.
Mm.
So that's the same mentality that I took when I was overseas. Like, if I go and do what I'm supposed to do, somebody gonna notice. So the thing is, I just had to continue working and then just making sure, even when I got in the league, just it's about being in the right place at the right time and just continue to put that work in because you don't never know who's watching, you never know when your opportunity is gonna come. So I just had that mentality, just keep working. What I gotta do to get better, get better, get better, and that was just my mentality.
Yeah, Charlie Bell joining me heavy in the paint. So Bell, you get it. You look. Let's look at the NBA right now, and you look at some of these teams. One of your former teams, the Milwaukee Bucks. They bring in Damian Lillard, and it just seems like, you know what? I've had a hard time understanding what they're doing because, obviously it seemed apparent that this team was really an organization, maybe was set up to say, hey, look, Giannis, we're not mad at you if you decide to move on and stuff like that. We are not a big city team. We're a small market. And then all of a sudden they get Damian Lillard, and then all of a sudden everything shifts from having Adrian Griffin, rookie head coach, going to come in there and kind of guide the way. And they made the transition from Giannis, so be it. And then all of a sudden that shifts, and they bring Doc Rivers in, and it just seems this team has been very imbalanced and stuff. And just looking at that landscape, is it safe to say that sometimes, man, can you really judge teams in the regular season, or is it all postseason? When maybe
Uh,
they'll sort of
yeah,
get everything together.
I think the season's so long, teams are gonna have ups and downs. They're gonna have injuries, and then you look at a team like Milwaukee, like you said with Dame and Giannis, it's like you got two mega stars trying to figure out how to play with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of them things where it's gonna take some time. Some people get too up sometimes, like man, they look like they're gonna win the championship, and then they lose a couple. Oh man, then I don't know what they got going on. They probably ain't gonna beat Boston. They ain't gonna do this, but at the same time, it's a long season, and then they're teams are trying to figure stuff out. They're probably doing stuff that they probably won't do once the playoffs start. So it's kind of one of the things you're trying to figure each other out. And I really think that they're starting to click a little bit right now. I think Giannis starting to miss a couple more games, and I think Dame is starting to kind of find himself more because sometimes you play with another great player. Sometimes it's like you're trying to find, okay, do I take over now or do I let you just continue? What I'm saying, do you do your thing? And then Giannis probably thinking the same thing, like do I take over or like go like so you kind of both guys are like trying to like figure it out, like when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive, when to pass, when not to pass. So it's kind of like you got to give them some time. But I think now they're looking like a championship contender. I mean they definitely got the ball rolling right now. Like I said, I mean Giannis being there for longer, but at the same time I feel like Dame is going to be the key. I think Giannis is going to be Giannis, but if Dame can knock down shots and take over in fourth quarters, like what he can do, I think you look at it like I look at it like Cleveland a couple years ago with LeBron and Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? LeBron was going to do his thing in three quarters, but when it was clutch time, Kyrie hit some big shots. That was when Kyrie kind of took over. I think that's what the Milwaukee is going to be, where Giannis is going to get his in the first three quarters, and he's going to get some in the fourth quarter too. But that fourth quarter is going to be what they say Dame time. So I think that's what it's going to be about with them. As they go forward.
Yeah, when you look at Golden State, is it safe to say that this is perhaps the end of the run? And I mean, they're in a dogfight right now with the Houston Rockets and stuff. But obviously, this fan base has been very, very, supportive, and obviously them getting to this point. But is it just safe to say that the end is near if it's not already here?
I mean, I think the end is near. I think everybody's end is going to be near at some point or another. But I'm a big Steph Curry fan, man. I can't count Steph out, man. That's Steph Curry right there, man. One of the greatest shooters ever, man. But they definitely just like every team, man. This I think the big thing is Clay's kind of struggling a little bit. I think they've had some injuries, but I think like we talked about it before. It's like they've won and on a consistent level for so long. It's kind of you got the fans and got spoiled. So the other thing is you have to let these guys just ride it out for however long it is. I don't know what's going to happen this off season. With Clay and some of the other players. I think but I think I look at it like Steph may have another year or two where with the right pieces around him and guys playing at a higher level. Because I think the way they shoot the ball, I mean, they can get hot and beat anybody. I don't care what anybody says. In the 7 game series, those guys click and they start to get what they got to get going. They're going to be all right. I'm not counting them out. I don't think they'll win a championship, but I think there's a lot of teams at the top of the West that don't want to see them once the playoffs start.
Yeah, I think they just have the lack of size that once, they were able to overcome because of the shooting and stuff like that, and now they're struggling offensively. What is a team that's really stood out to you this season? In any of the watching, what team has it been? Has it been the Phoenix Suns?
I watch them naturally, because I know the owner of the team. But a couple teams I know I've really kind of been, looking at Denver naturally. I mean, Jokic, man, he's something special. I thought Philly was playing well at the beginning of the year with Embiid and young fella was got going. I think they were better without Harden, truthfully. And then I like Minnesota, man. That young boy Anthony Edwards up there, man. They got the Twin Towers. They really got a good team, and Anthony Edwards is one of them guys. Like he's a dog, man. Like I love watching him play, man. When he dunked on my man the other day, and they showed the clip at the end of the game, and Anthony Edwards was just like, no, when he said, "Oh," that was like one of the most funniest things ever, man, because you could just tell, he a dog, man. And I think when you got players, a player like that on your team, that's going to push everybody else, because they know how hard he's playing. That's going to, push Big Cat or Rudy Gobert, those guys, and some of those other role players. I think they're going to be a team to watch out for here in the playoffs too, but just because of their size. Because I feel like, you look at some teams, they lack size, but they got enough size and enough talent on that team. And they might be scary too here in the playoffs.
Yeah. Also, for the record, that wasn't a dunk because he didn't have any part of the rim. That was just like a
Hey,
forced floater. That's what I call it.
hey, well, hey,
Forced
we call it
forced
whatever you want.
floater.
It was nasty though.
It wasn't nasty. It looked good, but it wasn't that. I always say if you ever want to go look at some dunks and people dunking on people, that's Dominique Wilkins. Okay, go look at Dominique Wilkins, and
No,
I don't want
I hear you, Dominic.
David
you got
Thompson, Dr. J, MJ, Michael Jordan. That's
Sean
where
Kemp. You got to put Sean Kemp in
I
there.
was 6'10". I was saying 6'10". He was dunking on dudes, but I always try to keep it 6'5" and under.
Oh, okay, I got you. I
You know,
got you.
five,
I feel
seven,
what you're saying.
6'7". You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? I don't
yeah.
want to put the big fellas in there. You know
No,
what I'm
no,
saying?
I feel what you're saying. But
It
hey,
was a nice. It was
hey,
nice.
for
It
you
was
to be up that high and throw it down like that, even like you said, even if he did touch the rim, that's still impressive.
It was very impressive. It was a lot of artistry. You delved into coaching at some point and stuff like that in terms of just obviously with the G League and stuff on the minor league level. Is there still the interest, desire to get back into coaching? Because look, there's been a run of college coaches where you have Jerry Stackhouse, most recently with Vanderbilt. You got Penny Hardaway, Damon Stoudemire is now at Georgia Tech. Kenny Anderson is at Fisk University. Do you see at any point you getting back into that mix in coaching, especially with this climate and landscape that's going on with this NIL stuff?
I mean, maybe at some point. I don't know about college though. I think that the NIL is yeah, I don't know if I want to, I'm more old school. I'm more like, coach. I mean, like some of you, I'm more old school, man. It's like, man, you come here to hoop, you're gonna come hoop. If you do what you're supposed to do, the money will come. Now they want the money. Like, shit, where the
You want the
bag at?
money.
Yeah, where the bag at? So it's, but right now, I train kids, so still around the game. So I'm pretty content with that, man. But you never know what's gonna happen. If something comes up, in the pros or G leagues, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Do you ever feel that you ever got the credit that you deserve playing at Michigan State? Because obviously, and it's no slight at anybody. Do you ever look back and say, you know what? Did I get up the credit I really deserve? Because obviously it was a team, but you got
Yeah.
guys out there, and there's no knock on anybody at all. But do you ever feel like, you know what? You get the credit. I didn't get all the credit I really, really deserve, and what others like myself really put in to the successful run that Michigan State has had over the course of these your time.
No, I'm content, man. The thing is I think there might be a lot more guys that probably want what I had as far as, the championships, four Big Ten championships, three Final Fours, one national championships, that was what was important to me, man. Just winning. I mean, I mean, sometimes you think about it and it's like, I could have been more selfish, could have did this or did that, but at the same time, for me, my whole career is just about I want to win. I want to be known as a winner. I think, like you said, real basketball heads, man, and people understand the game. They understand, what I meant and what I did, and how hard it is to do what I did. Especially like I said, being a scorer, adjusting my game, and and doing the things, and like I said, I think I don't know if I'm still, but I might be still like the all-time winningest player. But like I said, I did a lot of winning, and I'm very proud of that.
Talk your talk, Charlie Bell.
Man, stop it, man, stop
Talk
it.
your talk, man. I mean, it's only right. Give me a Final Four pick, and who's going to be cutting the nets down in a couple weeks.
Man, my brackets is all messed up. I really believe I don't know about Final Four, but I think UConn has a good chance to win it all. I mean, they're looking like a real complete team, and so that's kind of like my pick right now.
Is there another dark horse out there? Come on, Bill. How you gonna pick three team? You want to pick one team? I said Final Four. Give me Final Four. Give me something.
I don't even know the bracket. I don't even know the brackets like that,
It
man.
don't
Like
matter
I don't
who you
know.
think. Who do you think? So I mean, do you see Houston? Houston. I mean, who you
I
think?
don't I don't believe in Houston, man. I think and Kelvin Sampson's my guy. I played with he was an assistant coach in Milwaukee. I was there, but to me they got some great guard play. But to me, I don't know if they got the interior. I mean, and then they just got mollywop there in they conference tournament by 30 40 points. I don't know. It's gonna be they got to stay. Them guards got to be clicking. I like Purdue. I mean that Big Ten. That big Edie, man. Edie's he's a handful, man. I don't think that nobody can stop that guy one on one. And if they continue to knock shots down, and they're a very good defensive team, hard court. I mean, like they're very intense. Defensive team, offensive rebounding. They're another team out there thinking that can pull out. Like I feel like nowadays, with Edie and then the big fella at UConn, like you need a big out there in college. It may not help you much NBA. You know what I'm saying? But if you got a big out there, you surround them with the right core of players around them, shooters, defenders, other rebounders, dirty work guys. That's why I like, like watching Purdue, like they got my man, he's like the other big, but he's kind of like the dirty work guy. Uh, and then you got the point guard that's really good, a freshman point guard, but they got a really good team and a lawyer that can shoot the ball. He's from Clarkson, but they got a really good team, and I feel like everybody understands the role of that team. And Edie is a handful, man. Like I watched him against Michigan State, and twice this year, demolish us. I mean, 30 and 20. It's just like, but just watching, like, man, that big man is skilled, man. And like you try to double team, and like you've seen the progression of his game over the last couple of years. He's a better passer now, uh, and his footwork. He looks like he's kind of like he's big, but he look like he's slimmed down, like over the years. So Purdue is another team I think that can pull it off too.
Yeah, Houston. I tell you this, I saw them play against Memphis 2 years in a row
Hmm.
last year, and just seeing how Kelvin Sampson. One thing about them is the fact is those guys. I think Texas A&M, that game where they played against Houston. Those two teams, perhaps by far the best rebounding teams I've seen in college basketball. But
Hmm.
Houston are aggressive, and to go from the AAC and then their first year
Yeah.
in the Big 12 and win the conference, I think that
Yeah.
speaks volumes. But
No,
they got
I give credit to.
they got guys that's just goons that's just gonna be on the
No, no,
board.
no, 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 ain't no doubt. I mean, then I give Kelvin Sampson a lot of credit. I mean, like that's my guy. He was like, that's my. I'm pulling for. I'm one, but I just don't know if they can pull it off or not. But when you look at Houston, like I think the last time I went down there, I went to like their arena. You know, that place ain't somewhere like most kids want to go, especially if you go to
Oh,
Michigan State and you go like that arena down there is old, and I'm like, what is I mean, I don't know how it is now. This was a couple years ago before Kevin Sampson took over, and for him to take that program to where it's at right now, like a perennial powerhouse like the last couple years. I mean, I would hate to see, they continue to win, the money coming to the program, building a new arena. I don't know what they got right now, like as far as practice facilities and stuff like that. But when I saw it years ago, I was like, man,
but
I thought I was back in Europe or something, man, one of these old arenas.
but that's when that five slammer jammer, and that's actually when we met. That was when they had the game down there. Remember you played? It was during the
Was that it?
NBA All Star Weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was like they had like a little charity game or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that. But last question, Bill, I appreciate you, man. When you look at the Big Ten and just adding even more teams, and now what's getting ready to happen, I mean, obviously football drives it, but when you look at what's going to happen starting next year with USC, UCLA, among others, coming into the Big Ten, is it just to a point where it's just too much and it's just going to really be a bloodbath in terms of just trying to compete?
It's gonna be tough, man. But it's like you said, football drives it. Money drives it. They look, big teams probably looking at TV contracts and stuff like that. And what's going to be interesting is just the logistics of, you know, because now you got what Rutgers might have to go play, on the West Coast. I mean, you got, it's like the East and West. Like I remember back in the day, the Big East was the Big East, like it was
Yeah.
over there. The West was the West. You know what I'm saying? ACC was down here. Like Pac-12 was over here. So now it's like everything just all over the place. I don't even know what conference is what no more, man. But like I said, it's the money drives everything, and it's going to make things a lot tougher for everybody. Because now Big Ten, especially football, you might have had, two or three teams every year that was probably going to be, you got Michigan State that was going to be in there and all this. But, we've been up and down for that. But, you got the Michigans, the Ohio States, Wisconsin's been, pretty good. And then Penn State's been really good. But now you add in the USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington. Now it's like it's going to be even harder. I mean, I know that they're going to be probably expanding the college football playoffs, but a lot of these things are going to become a lot harder because it's going to be so, good. But at the same time, I think it's going to help a little bit as far as recruiting because now a kid that's on the West Coast might get more exposure to a team like Michigan or Michigan State, and vice versa. A kid is going to get more exposure to a USC and UCLA because now you're starting to see these schools a lot more. So, it's like we talk about everything becoming global. It's like college has become nationwide now. So it's crazy, but that's all powered by that almighty dollar.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like 10 teams coming out of the Big Ten next year
Yeah,
for college basketball playoffs and stuff. Bill,
right.
my last thing I want to say to you, man, is happy belated birthday, good brother. You
Hey man,
know,
appreciate that, brother.
always, man, I have nothing but the utmost respect for you and everything that like I said before, to run off your accolades and stuff like that. That's a given. But I can say that you're first class, brother. Always salute you and appreciate you. And definitely continue success in all that you do, man. And definitely waiting for you to come back on the East Coast, man, and hang out on this East Coast. I mean, it's a lot warmer over there, over here than it is over there. But then again,
Hey,
you might be in Arizona.
no, no, I'm in Michigan. Yeah, hey, when
You might be
everything started to
in
get,
Phoenix. You
when it
know,
get, hey, one day you never know. One day you never know.
hey, I'm not mad at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at you. Shout out to Matt Ishbia and stuff like that. Your former teammate, now the governor for the Phoenix Suns. I wonder, just wonder how he feels that, guys, he was the walk on and like, get out of here. Now they're like, man, Matty, man, come on,
Exactly,
Matt.
exactly. Hey, they coming out the woodworks right now. Trust me, I know. They calling me like I got. I'm like, look, they call that man. I know I can't help you.
Like, Matthew,
They came out the woodworks on me. I'm like, man, I don't know the team.
Charlie Bell, man, I appreciate you. Heavy in the
Hey
paint,
man, not a problem, bro.
always.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
heavy in the paint. Peace.